5:30 p.m. and I would like to call the meeting of the April 6th public hearing regarding the potential closure of Perry Elementary School to order with the pledge to the American flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dieselmeyer.
Here.
Mr. Herrera.
Here.
Mr. Hemke.
Here.
Mrs. Howe. Here. Mr. Mueller.
Here.
Mr. Piggy.
Here.
And Mrs. Young.
Here.
Before we start the public hearing of the board, as a reminder, all board members are expected to follow our approved meeting norms and board protocol. At this time, we will have a brief presentation on the possible closure of Perry Elementary School. Dr. Shug.
All right. I'm going to walk through a very brief presentation. This is not going to be a question and answer session tonight. This is really a public hearing, so it's meant for the board to hear from the public and to hear from all of you here this evening. So this presentation is intended to be very short, but if you have questions, please know that there's a QR code posted throughout the room that'll take you to our website where you can see previous presentations that were made. There's an FAQ list there as well. And if you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or to the board, and we will do what we can to get those questions answered or add them to the FAQ list for you as well as our hearings move throughout the week. I will make the same presentation every night. And again, out of respect for your time being here tonight, I'm going to try to make it very brief so that you have ample opportunity to make sure we have an opportunity to hear from all of you.
Dr. Shug.
Yes. Yes, we do have translation services available. Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Is there anyone in the room requiring translation services? Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for that reminder, Mr. Herrera. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have us go ahead and move forward to the summary of basically our past, present, future, how we got to where we are today. Back in 2022, the district was evaluating their aging facilities that are across our district. They were designed for different educational, safety, and accessibility standards, and facility conditions varied across the district, creating inequities in learning environments, safety, features, and accessibility. The district recognized that and convened a process to really look at all of those facilities and began a long-range facilities planning process. Again, that's in 2022. This process was intended to better understand our building conditions and our system needs, our enrollment trends, our capacity, our educational program requirements, and to really evaluate the long-term financial responsibility of how we can make sure we're investing in maintenance across the district so that we don't wind up in a situation where our buildings are not being maintained. So where we are today, we do have a community-driven facilities master plan that has been developed with input from staff, families, student, community members, board representatives, and through the use of third-party consultants. That was done with a group of approximately 50 stakeholders. Currently, we are actively implementing phase one, which was approved by the board in September of 2024. Phase one includes safety and security improvements at all of our schools, critical building systems such as roofs, HVAC and infrastructure, accessibility, and code compliance. It also includes updates to Everest High School, which includes moving the district wellness center to allow for the expansion of Everest, and the remodel of Perry Elementary School. Phase one projects were prioritized based on need, impact, and equity across the district, and engaging the community using independent polling to inform future decisions was done as a part of evaluating all of those phase one projects that have not already been begun to be implemented. Phase 1 addresses urgent needs now, while planning responsibly is what is next. So tonight, again, we are here about Perry. And Perry was built in 1897, had additions in 1954. It is a multi-story building with 3 main floors that we use for teaching. Currently, the enrollment is approximately 175 students, and there's approximately 275 students in that Perry boundary area. Programming at this time does not include dual language, nor is the building currently ADA accessible. To respond to all of those needs as part of the Phase 1 scope, which is approximately $6.8 million, the board approved in September of 2024 to begin looking at a Tier 2 status quo enhancement to Perry Elementary School. The items included in that are a new secure entry sequence with the main office remodel, which is necessary to create that secure entrance. ADA compliance, including elevators, and remodeling the restrooms that are at Perry. It also includes a remodel with elevator, restroom, stairwell modifications to remodel the adjacent classrooms and spaces, access control update, and roof restoration. Perry in Phase 1, in the scope of Perry that is not included, is a potential for an additional investment between 7 and 9 million. And you can see that project list here, which includes LED lighting, a sprinkler system, fire alarm for code compliance, PA system, emergency generator, modernizing the HVAC system, and the other items that are listed here. So Perry Elementary School, the approximate replacement value for the building is 17.5 to 18.5 million. The Phase 1 investment looks like approximately $6.8 million with a potential additional investment of $7 to $9 million. There will still be some projects that will remain undone even after that investment. Some things that are just really difficult to address in that current building. That's an undersized gym, no kitchen. Overall, the site is undersized. Limited site circulation during student drop-off and pickup, playground being close to the road, and insufficient parking. Again, all of those items are remaining building limitations, but aren't included in any of the scope that we have right here. So one of the questions that we consistently get is, why have the conditions of Perry not been addressed sooner? And I think we can go back to sort of a history of deferred maintenance and concerns across the district about deferred maintenance, but specifically after the board approved that September 2024 Tier 2 scope remodel, the work at Perry had always been scheduled to take place later in Phase 1. That is due to the complexity and the scope and the nature of that work. For example, to be strategic in the spending at Perry, it would not be cost effective or efficient to replace the roof before the issues of secure entrances and ADA compliance were addressed. The design for Perry is scheduled to take place in July of 2026, which is why the time right now is urgent to look at those next steps for Perry. As we have begun moving forward with those Phase 1 projects, and as we've begun to look at what that looks like for Perry Elementary School, the board has decided to consider a potential closure. The reason that they're doing that, again, the board in September of 2024 approved keeping Perry open, but it is now time to begin the design for the remodel that is necessary at Perry School. That does incur additional costs. That means it's time to begin significant investment at Perry to keep it open for the foreseeable future. The board is considering the cost necessary to keep Perry open, the demographic study that indicates that we are not expecting significant growth, and that we do have capacity at our other elementary schools at this time to serve our Perry students, providing comparable spaces for all of our students, and stakeholder feedback. The board truly values our Perry students, our staff, our community, and the history and importance of neighborhood schools. The board also takes very seriously the responsibility of being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars, and that's really what brings us here tonight. Thank you for your attention to that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over at this time to Mr. Herrera to begin public input.
Thank you, Dr. Shug. We will now have our hearing of visitors. Members of the public and employees of District 100 may make public comment. As a reminder, any person appearing before the board is expected to address the board only at the appropriate time and follow the directives of the board president, and to maintain order and decorum, identify oneself, limit your comments to 3 minutes, and conduct oneself with respect and civility towards others, and otherwise abide by board policy 8:30, visitors to and conduct on school property. At this time, would Mr. Matt Zickert please come up?
Okay. I'm not surprised we're here today. Could have told you this 2 years ago, that we'd be here today, but I don't think anybody paid attention as much as I hoped they would. This all began, we did a facility study. Dr. Shug was talking about the facilities team. We did a facility study. It was a request that ended up costing us $600,000. The board was given an RFP back in November of that year, I believe it was, to do a facility study, and then all of a sudden in June, we find out we owe somebody $600K, or close to it. We asked questions, nobody really knew anything. We were told, well, you guys approved that when you did the RFP. We don't even, by state statute, you guys don't necessarily even have to approve that anymore. So long story short, we were told we were out $330,000 no matter what. We went ahead with the study or didn't. So if we decided to cancel the study then, which someone was really wanted to do, we were gonna be out $350,000 and get nothing. We were gonna be able to collect nothing for that $350,000. This all goes back to other things too, when we talk about credibility, when we talk about the track and tennis courts that we did at North. It should have cost us about $100,000, ended up costing us a few million because we waited and waited. I've talked to people, those were on the agenda to do, we just postponed them. Perry, the previous board, went through the same process when I was on the board. We voted 6-1 to keep Perry open. Carla Mava was the only vote, so 2 other people sitting up here voted yes. We asked over several months while we were still on the board when work was gonna start. We were sure it was gonna start, that it was gonna happen. I asked because I was worried about this, and we were told that it actually would happen. But it did. So I think people need to remember, when you vote in elections for boards, they have consequences. I think you could make a logical case to close Perry, but I think the process does matter. It was starved for a reason. It was starved because I don't think they ever really wanted to fix it. I think they wanted to get to this point, and when the board elections happened 6 months later, I think they got what they wanted, or it helped. I don't think we prioritize spending the way we should. I mean, we've added, when we talk about the financial part, look at all the jobs we've added that don't affect kids. I get up and talk about this at board meetings all the time. Look at hiring of Nexus. We never did that before. We built Belvedere North, which is a $60 million building 20-some years ago. We didn't need Nexus back then. For Seth, we didn't need it for Meehan, Lincoln. We've done all this stuff. We're spending a pretty good chunk of change on that. I think going, one last thing, during the board interview process, one of the questions Dr. Shug was asked, if the board comes to you, if we vote down something you want, or we vote something in you don't want, how would you react to that? Well, I respect the decision of the board. We move forward with that. Well, I'm telling you, as a former board member, doesn't seem like that to me on this case.
Thank you, Mr. Zickert. Your time is up. Okay, at this time, would Mr. Andrews Kitson please step forward?
All right, you'll be hearing from me probably 3 nights this week. Tonight might be the easiest one for you to hear. Perry School has stood in this community since 1897. It's an old building, I get that. But let that sink in how long it's been here. For over 125 years, it's educated generations of children who grew up stayed here, raised families here, gave back to this town, are still in this town, voting for you guys. Perry is not just a building, it's part of the foundation of Belvedere. And now, here we are again, debating whether it's worth continuing. Not because it's failing, not because the kids aren't learning, but because of what it doesn't have. I've heard the word inequitable used numerous times from the board, from citizens, from numerous people. But let me ask you something. It's been about a concern about stairs, about the lower level library, which is not in the basement, it's a lower level of a multi-level building. About space. When did stairs become more important than a child feeling safe? When did room location matter more than a student being known by name? Because that's what Perry does. The Perry kids are they're not just numbers. They're not lost in the crowd. Every adult in that building knows those children. They know their struggles. They know their strengths, and they show up for them every single day. For some of those kids, that building is more than a school. It's the most stable thing they have. It's support. It's the one place they feel like they belong. And you're weighing that against a checklist. A bigger gym, that gym is perfectly fine for the amount of kids in that building, correct? A different layout, a newer facility. You cannot replace what Perry has with square footage and new construction. You just can't do it. I've seen what happens in that school. I've seen kids who struggle the most light up with confidence, joy, and pride. I've seen them succeed because they are in an environment that lifts them up instead of letting them disappear amongst the other kids. That's not something you close and move on. That's something you protect. Yes, Perry needs a roof. So will every other building in this district. That's called maintenance. Maintenance that should have been done years ago.
Yep.
That's not a reason to walk away over a century of impact. So let's be honest about what this vote really is. It's not about a building. This is about whether you value what happens inside that building. Excuse me. This is about whether relationships matter, whether community matters, whether those kids in that building matter. We talk about what's inequitable to those kids. We've never talked to those kids to see if it's inequitable to them. The other kids are the ones missing out. Once you take this away, you don't get it back. You can't rebuild 125 years of trust. You don't recreate that sense of family somewhere else and hope it just works the same. It won't. So when you sit there on Thursday night and cast your vote, think about more than just the reports and the checklists. Think about the kids who walk through those doors every morning. Think about the staff who pour everything they have into those kids. The generations who came before them and the ones who deserve that same chance. And ask yourself, what's your legacy going to be? Will you be the board that saw the value in Perry, just like the previous board did, and chose to invest in it and follow through with what's been done? Or will you be the board that falls prey to the machine and let something irreplaceable disappear? Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Thank you, Mr. Kitson. Okay. Is it Ella or Alea speak?
I want to let you know that this school matters. It's not just something that you just get to discard. What I like about my school is the trust that it has within it. I love my friends and my teachers. I feel safe at the school, and I have what I need to learn.
You're doing great.
I'd like to make a small comment. That is my third grade daughter. She loves her school so very, very much. She feels that she has everything that she needs.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you for your break. All right, Mr. Michael Speak.
Whew, that time disappears fast. I will do my best to behave myself. Members of the Belvedere board, I asked again that you please keep Perry School open. There are two sides to every coin, right? Different ways to look at things. Maybe there's more to the picture than what you see. I have faith that my community is going to go in detail about certain things. So today, I'll be speaking in summary. I'll call and response, if you will. You can call us clinging on to nostalgia. We prefer to think of ourselves as experienced. You can say that our building is too old. I think that it's a recognized piece of Belvedere history. We should be very proud of our building. It's a legacy of how long we have been educating children at that building, and we've done a good job of this. You think that the building is too costly to repair? I don't think it would have been so bad if we had taken care of it in the first place. Enrollment is lower than the rest of the district. We have tried to address bringing an English language program or a dual language program to our school. We have tried to get exact answers as possible. Those were never addressed. We were simply told it just can't be done. Your school is too small. We don't have those numbers in front of us. The cost of paying our teachers might be a little on the high side, but they might maybe they would be in other schools, but our wonderful teachers have stuck around so long because we have something magical. We give them a reason to be here. You can say that we're inaccessible. On that point, I think we're on the same page. I will fully admit that I've looked over the options in terms of accessibility, and I found it was such a small percentage. When I was shown a different viewpoint, I wiped the egg off my face. And I agree. I would love for the school to be updated so we can show it to anyone and to everyone who wants to be part of our community. I still have quite a bit to say, but I'll skip to the end. You say that Perry isn't as equitable as other schools. Honestly, you can ask any Perry student what they think is missing. You could poll them. We know the value of polls. I bet you could get 400 of those from our neighborhood. Last thing I would like to say is these kids have the support of our neighborhood behind them. We will go above and beyond to show that they can have anything, do anything, be anything, and do it right from Perry where they belong.
Thank you, Mr. Speak. At this time, would Mrs. Megan Speak please come up?
I do have a speech prepared, but I need to say something else first. And that's that exactly what makes Perry so great is that you had a name in front of you you couldn't pronounce. Her name's Elia. And while she was up here struggling because she was so afraid to talk to you, I don't know if you could hear everyone behind me whispering encouragement to her and calling her Ellie because they know her and they know exactly who she is and what she likes. That's right, Mom. Sorry. All right. So the speech I prepared. Deferred maintenance. That's a phrase that got thrown around a lot at the last board meeting. The deferred maintenance adds another layer of costliness to bring our school up to what it's supposed to be and what it always should have been. But I want you all to ask yourselves whose fault the deferred maintenance is. Because it isn't ours, it isn't the kids, it's the board. And you can sit and look at us and tell us over and over that this is a new board, that most of you weren't here in those seats last time. But that doesn't change the fact that every time Perry was shoved aside for another project, it was the board's doing. The people who sat in those seats 2 years ago owned that and decided that our school is worth investing into, that it was time to finally catch up on that deferred maintenance and add improvements too. Money was budgeted, a plan was made, and 2 years later, we haven't seen a single one of those repairs. You took those chairs. You have a responsibility to uphold that decision and make good on those promises. We shouldn't be punished and broken and shut down just because the changes we were promised were deferred by a board yet again. And I don't blame any one of you individually. I don't believe any of you has some nefarious agenda to meet. But you're all only looking at the present, at what's immediately in front of you, which is a bunch of dollar signs. We did this already. I was talking to a group of friends of mine today about this meeting tonight, and they're friends that I wouldn't have if it weren't for Perry. And one of them said something that struck me. When it's time to roll up, we roll up.
Right.
You might not see us at other meetings, but we're always watching. That's why we showed up in full force last time this happened, and we filled the Perry gym to the brim to tell the board all the reasons they should keep our school open, and we're here to do it again because we deserve more than a shutter, we deserve more than deferred maintenance, and we deserve to never have to fight this board again.
Thank you, Mrs. Speak. At this time, would Mrs. Carol Stump please come up?
Hi. Okay. Here we are again. I came here tonight as a grandparent and somebody that has been fighting for Perry School from the beginning. I'm a little frustrated and I'm confused that we're back here again. Back on the chopping block after the previous board had already approved the repairs that were never completed. How did Perry go from approved for improvements to recommended for closure yet again? I started to dig and then I started to have more questions. And as I started to dig into details, and actually I could probably sit up here for 2 hours and ask question after question of things that I've discovered after I've started digging and digging. But it's about the expenditures that are happening. The district is in the process of selling Kishwaukee School, which we've known about for a while. But at the same time, the district purchased the Pope building for $375,000. And I was able to dig and see that we're going to, if I read it right and the information I pulled up correctly, which was some bids. I paid to get those bids, by the way. We're investing about another $1.3 million into the Pope building to create a wellness center. But we already have a wellness center. And that facility is operating out of Everest. So I asked this question. What was wrong with that building? Why did we need to go and renovate another building? 1.5 mil, if I did my numbers right. When our existing school, Perry, has been waiting years for just some basic repairs. And then this is my biggest question. Why did we hire Nexus Solutions? Is our district not equipped with qualified staff in our purchasing, facilities, or administration to handle these responsibilities? Why are we outsourcing millions of dollars while our neighborhood school is being threatened with a closure? We as a community deserve time and more transparency, because now there's more questions than ever. We need to have the questions answered, especially when all of these additional expenses were happening. I don't know, not being hit, I'm not saying that, but we should have had better communication of what was going on to the families and the taxpayers who are directly impacted by these decisions.
Thank you, Mrs. Stump. Your time is up. Okay, would Ms. Harmony Leitch, please come up? Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Harmony. I have a third grader at Perry. I had a huge speech written, but I know everybody else here is going to get into all that and you're going to hear repeated information. So I guess what I came here tonight to say, and I don't mean it rudely, but I just want you to know that I'm super disappointed in District 100 School Board, and I think I speak for everyone when I say that.
Yep.
It's absolutely ridiculous that we have to be here 2 years later after you guys voted to keep it open, and now we're back here fighting again. All the teachers are here wondering, am I gonna have a job here? Do I need to start looking at other schools? All the kids that were in Perry, 2 years ago when this happened, so they'd be second graders now, right? So everybody from second grade to fifth grade, this is the second time they're going through this again. My kid's asking me every single day, are they gonna close my school, Mom? And I say, I don't know, I'm gonna try to help save it, buddy. That's all I can say to him. You know, it's not fair. It's not fair to the kids, especially the teachers or the parents. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why there was a point on voting the first time if that vote doesn't even count now. What's the point of voting? What was the point of voting? How can you go back on a vote? If that's how we ran everything and you could just go back on a vote, how do we get anything done? That just does not make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. And a few other things too. You want to talk about how our school, you make it seem like our kids are missing out because they have to have a gym and it's also the lunchroom half the day, or they have a smaller playground that's closer to the road, or they have a library that's downstairs and it's smaller than the other schools. Our kids don't know the difference. This is what they're used to and this is what they like. They don't complain. I'm on PTO at Perry. I don't hear one kid ever complain about anything like that at Perry. Kids don't think about stuff like that. They don't. And so if this decision is truly about our kids, you would be asking our kids, who's asked our kids how they feel? I mean, obviously it's not up to a group of, 7 and 8 year olds if we get to spend this money on Perry, but who has asked our kids how they feel about Perry? Who's asked our kids, how do you feel about Perry not having its own gym? How do you feel about Perry, having a library that's a little bit smaller than other schools? If you're truly concerned about our kids and what they're missing out on, why weren't they asked? Why weren't they asked? They should be asked. Because this decision is for them, what's good for them, and none of them have been asked a thing. It's just, I get where you guys are coming from and you have to make a hard decision. I get it's about money, but in the end, it's more than money. Like everybody in here will tell you, you can't replace a small school, the love the teachers have for them. The teachers know every kid by name. They know what they like. They know their parents. I'm there all the time. I see it. These kids are comfortable there and that's what they need. And taking them away from that and shoving them into these schools that are overcrowded is not it. That's not the answer.
Thank you, Mrs. Leish. Okay, at this time, would Mr. Fort Zachary please come forward?
Good evening, my name is Fort Zachary and I'm the ESL teacher at Perry Elementary School. First, I want to publicly thank Board Member Hemke for meeting with me over the holiday weekend. I sincerely appreciate it. Tonight I'm going to speak to you about neighborhood schools. Tomorrow about Perry specifically, and Thursday will be my emotional plea. Schools are more than buildings. They are landmarks, meeting places, and the heart of a community. Few schools represent that truth more clearly than Perry. Closing Perry would mean losing far more than just a school. While newer, larger school buildings may look impressive, research and experience tell a different story when it comes to student success. Small neighborhood schools like Perry offer closer teacher-student relationships, more individualized attention, stronger family involvement, and a safer, more connected environment. According to data emphasized by ISB, student growth and school climate are among the most important measures of success. These are exactly the areas where smaller schools shine. For generations, families in Belvedere have sent their children to Perry. Grandparents, parents, and children have all walked the same halls. That kind of continuity builds something you can't replicate: pride, trust, and connection. When a neighborhood school closes, the loss is felt far beyond the classroom. It changes the identity of the entire community. Big consolidated schools may sound like progress, but they come with real trade-offs: higher construction and long-term maintenance costs, increased transportation needs for students, and larger, less personal learning environments. Big schools can feel efficient, even cost-effective, but they often lack the sense of belonging that younger students need most. Instead of closing Perry, investing in it is the more responsible path forward. Upgrading the building to meet modern standards, including ADA compliance, offers clear advantages: lower overall cost than building anew, opportunity for phased, manageable improvements, access to historic preservation funding, and reduced environmental impacts. Most importantly, it allows Perry to continue serving the community it has supported for over a century. Perry Elementary is not just a school, it's a shared experience. It's the walk to school on a fall morning. It's teachers who know entire families by name. It's a place where community traditions are passed down year after year. These are things no new building can replace. The future of Perry Elementary is about far more than facilities, it's about values. Do we prioritize size and convenience, or do we invest in connection, history, and proven success? Keeping Perry open means choosing community over convenience, relationships over scale, and history with a future. In a time when education can feel increasingly large and impersonal, Perry reminds us what truly works. Sometimes the best way forward is to preserve what already makes a difference. Thank you.
That was really well said.
He's a Perry teacher.
All right, at this time, would Mrs. Amanda Hollerer, did I pronounce that correct?
Holler.
Holler, okay. Sorry about the
Don't worry.
mispronouncing.
Unfortunately, I'm very used to that. So my daughter goes to Perry, and like my daughter, unfortunately not from this area, went to a small school. I'm actually fourth generation of that school. And actually my family says, oh my, Perry is very similar to that school. They would actually consider Perry to be that fifth generation in our line of schools. So this school probably can only seat 250 students. Stairs, upstairs, downstairs. Oh, hey, look, the library was in the basement too. And was multi-level, just like Perry. Didn't think anything of library downstairs. Oh, no kitchen, no cafeteria. Our cafeteria was the gym. I will say, those are the best years of my life. Easily, I could probably read off all the teachers that I encountered at the school, just like everyone else. So it's one of those things where a small school is actually better for a community than these larger schools. So with these smaller schools, it's actually been proven that it is better for confidence. It's better. These kids feel safe.
It builds stronger relationships between teachers, students, and the community that the school sits in. So very ironically, I started looking into my old school district. Very, very odd. They slightly larger school district. They have 11 elementary schools. With maybe sitting 500 students per school. So they're all small schools. So when I started doing math, I found this kind of weird. So their graduation rate for the school district is 95%. Ours sits at 89 or 88.9% graduation rate. The only difference I can see is all of the smaller schools, elementary schools that they use. They have 2 middle schools and 2 high schools. Like I said, it is a bigger area. With everything, breaking it down, through the whole school district from K to 12, there is 4,152 more students enrolled. I get it that, hey, we have, 6 elementary schools? But once I actually broke everything down for just elementary, the average student for that other school district is about 450 students per school. Right now, we would be at 555 students per school, with the average, if we close Perry today, we would be averaging 666 students per each school.
Thank you, Amanda. Your time is up. Okay, at this time, would Mrs. Melissa Williams please come forward?
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to ask clearly and respectfully that you uphold the decision to keep Perry Elementary open and to invest in it. 23 months ago, this board made a commitment. After discussion and consideration, you recognized that Perry is more than a school. It is a place where children feel safe, known, and supported. That decision gave families stability. It gave students a sense of belonging. When the decision was made in May of 2024, my son was 7 years old. Today he is 9 and he's a third grader. At 7 years old, children are learning who they can trust. They're learning what it means for people and institutions to be dependable. A school should never be a place where trust is questioned. When you make a decision that affects children, those decisions become promises in their eyes. And promises, especially to children, should not be taken back. Reconsidering closure now does not just revisit a policy, it creates instability and confusion and fear for families who were told they could rely on this school. Smaller neighborhood schools like Perry are not expendable. They create stronger relationships, deeper family engagement, and environments where children are seen and supported. This is not theoretical, that is real impact. And beyond the data, Perry is a community. It is where children are known by name, where families build trust, and where connections exist that simply cannot be relocated or replaced. Closing Perry would not simply move students, it would dismantle a support system that has taken years to build. So I ask you directly, what does it say to our children when a commitment made by adults that they are told to trust reverse it in less than 2 years? Stability matters and trust matters, and your follow-through matters. This school board already made the right decision. Now is the time to stand by it. Do not step back from that commitment. See it through. Please don't teach our children that promises can be undone. Show them that leadership means standing by your word, even when it is difficult. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, would Mrs. Wendy Kitson please come forward?
Hello. You're gonna hear me say a lot of things that everybody else has already said, so, here we go. Please keep Perry School open. After teaching in this district for 23 years, I can tell you, Perry is unique. I've been in different elementary schools. Perry is unique in a great way. It is a family where every child is seen, valued, loved, and known by every staff member in that building. Students come to Perry for reassurance, guidance, and a safe place to belong. It has been said that Perry students are missing out on what other schools offer to their students. But I believe it is the other way around. Students at other schools are missing out on what Perry provides.
Amen.
Individual attention, a close-knit family feel, the pride of a community where every teacher knows the child's name, every child's name. From morning hugs, every morning, to grade level mingling activities where we mix up the kids, and even the Perry song. No other elementary school has a song. We have a Perry song that means a lot. This togetherness cannot be recreated in a larger setting. It just can't. Beyond the emotional impact, the financial justifications are unclear. Less than 2 years ago, updates were estimated at 3.3 million. That figure has since jumped to 7 million. Why? Without knowing exactly what does and doesn't need to be done, how can we justify closing a school that serves as the heart of its neighborhood and city? Why is this decision being made in such a hurry? There are too many unknowns. Where will students go when schools are already crowded? How can staff be placed before students are placed? What are the transportation costs, and will there be enough bus drivers? How will this affect kids in other schools, not just the Perry kids, the other schools too? Rushing these answers will create such a mess. It's going to be such a mess for the whole entire district. It isn't the size of the gym or the paint on the walls that matter. It's the spirit inside. I urge you, be the board remembered for finally investing in Perry after many years of neglect. But be the ones who prioritize our families. Please do not let your legacy be the board that gave up on Perry. It's not just the families at other schools. Sorry. Don't give up on Perry or its neighborhood, its history, its future, its family, and its achievements. I will be at every public hearing to stand with my Perry family and urge you to preserve this extraordinary school. It is too precious to lose.
Thank you, Mr. Kitson. Okay, at this time, would Mr. Brandon Fitchie please step forward?
Good evening, board members. I'm really bad at public speaking, but I'm doing this for my kids. My kids have been begging me to come to these meetings. I have a daughter that is in 3rd grade currently. She's the one that I've been basically making sure she's not crying every day. She does not want to lose her friends, her teachers, even the principal. They love everybody in that school. But one of the things I keep hearing in the demographics is there is no outlook for expansions in Belvedere. Did anybody remember that Belvedere Chrysler Assembly plant is coming back in 2028? Or the brand new Walmart distribution center? Even if Chrysler comes back, considering I am a former Chrysler member, at 2 shifts, you're talking 3,000 people. Even if you divide that by a third and say every parent has 1 kid, that's 1,000 students, possibly in the school. I did the math. With Perry currently open, there's 1,140 spots. Perry closed, it's 940. If you bring in another 1,000 students, you don't have the space. Now you got to build a brand new school, which is going to cost, on average, about what, 80 million? So that's my question to the board. Have you guys looked into Chrysler? or the Walmart distribution center. And I currently work at a plant that just celebrated 125 years. And that's because they've kept the upkeep on it. So that's the difference. Yeah, Perry's small, but the family that's there is family. We're not students and everybody else. Everybody's family, even the parents. We're a close-knit group. So the minute you break up the kids, now you're breaking up families. That's really all I got.
Okay, at this time, would Catherine Inslee please step forward?
Go on, Mama. Future Perry students right there, future Perry students.
So I would first like to say, I don't envy one of your seats. This is, again, after 2 years of doing it, I can't imagine what kind of questions or how you guys are feeling either. I don't know, we can tell you a little bit about how we're feeling, but I have no idea what it's like to be in your shoes. I never tried to run, I never wanted to be in charge of such decisions, so I give you compassion. Again, most of you are new. So when I had heard, we were talking about Perry again, we talked about, just having some questions about why would we keep this school open. And so I hope that you're getting the answers you're looking for to keep it open. Because that's all we're here for. We're not here for issues or to ask for more than we need. We have something that's so special. So now we're all here to tell you that it's special and we would really like to keep it. And you are the people that get to decide if we get to keep it or not. And so I don't know what kind of answers you're looking for. Again, and I'm not big on knowing all the facts. I'm not big on numbers, but I have a group of people that I can go to who do know the facts. I have a group of people that can tell you about the staffing. I mean, I can tell you about my kid. I think most of us are parents, which is why I'm just talking because I would be sad if I didn't speak up for my kids. I'm gonna have a lot, but I got 3 that currently went. I got 1 that's coming in for kindergarten with Mrs. Hirschman. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. I waited patiently 5 years, and I got 2 more. And I would just like a chance. And if there's something you guys need from us, I said it 2 years ago, we'll show up. You ask us, we'll do the best we can. You want us to fundraise, you want me to show up, and I'll do whatever you need me to do for my kid to be able to stay where he is with the people he's with. And for my younger kids, my other kids to get to do the same thing that they did. And I'm not saying it has to be shiny. Again, I've tried to listen, and I just want compassion and transparency and honesty and whatever you need from me. I'm here for it. I'm supporting you too. And again, I'm really sorry that you have such a hard decision, but I really hope it's to keep us open because we convinced 6 of you last time. And it was, again, the same issue. It's too much money. It's too much this. But we're worth it. The school is worth it. It's been open. Please, please, please keep us open. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Winfrey. Would Mr. Dan Snow please come forward?
Hello, you've seen me before. I want to thank you for your service. I know it's a thankless job. Obviously, I'm a supporter of keeping Perry open. Community schools work. You've heard that over and over. You got to see a red of people that are encouraged to stay there. As far as enrollment and size, my understanding is for the last number of years, it's been deliberately downsized in student population, which is a crock in my opinion. I personally believe that, no offense, Ms. Shook, but that you as an administration and the rest of the staff had an agenda to close this and have steered it in that direction. You as members of the board, you guys get fed the agendas from the staff. You don't go out there and solicit, oh, hey, I think I'll close Caledonia or I'll close Washington. No, they feed you that information and steer it that direction. The other thing I'd like to bring up is in the survey that you guys did you bring up the fact that, hey, not only Perry we're thinking about closing, we're thinking about, what do you think about closing Caledonia or Washington? What would the replies have been then? You gave them one thing, and of course, everybody's gonna say, hey, closing something's better than everything. So I strongly encourage you to, you guys had this in front of you as a board. You're not the same board, I get that. But again, the trust value, and it's an investment that this administration and previous administrations have failed to give the Perry School the maintenance money to keep it up and keep it viable. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. At this time, would Mrs. Abby Cameron please come forward?
I'd like a tears. I do have a request. I'm speaking on behalf of my students, and I promised them that I would read it verbatim. Okay, so I teach third grade, and then I would respectfully ask if everybody's okay with it. I would like to speak, so this is really fast. Okay, I'm gonna redact the names just for privacy, but this happened during today our discussion. All the third graders are very much concerned about what's happening and what we're doing tonight. So this is verbatim from them. First student. Why did you break the promise? Next student. You can't just rock, paper, scissors this decision. He was being so serious, and I promised that I would. Perry is such a cool school. Don't close it, please. And then, I've been at Perry since kinder. This is my first year being in a class of 29 because you didn't allow another fourth grade. No teacher should have 30 kids in a classroom. What happens when we are all moved and have 30 or more in one room? That's a lot. Every school should be like Perry. So I promised throughout the week, if kids wanted me to speak on their behalf, that I would be happy to stand up here and speak to you. So those were some of my kids. Am I allowed to have time for
Yeah, you still have time.
Okay. So I've been encouraged by my colleagues to speak this evening, and while I was trying to decide what I wanted to talk about, it dawned on me that no matter who stands up here, no matter what we say, at the end of the day, you will have a choice to make. Either way, you will have a group of people who are either happy or upset. Either way, you will still have a community that will be divided. You will have people who believe that money should be spent equally amongst the schools and to support all of our children. You will have people who believe that all of our children will be fine in other buildings where this money will be allocated towards. No matter what happens today, this is what I would like for us as a school district and as a community to focus on. We need to stop having divisive conversations around schools. We are a community. We are one. We are supposed to be united in the education of all of our children. That means that whether you are a Panther or a Buck, that you are supported by all. We do not have a line drawn across this community that separates us. It is time for us to come together, and it is time for us to support one another no matter where we live or what school we go to. To all of the other teachers that have reached out to me about how hurtful the comments are regarding Perry students coming to their classrooms and they not being cared for, I want you to know from a Perry teacher that this is not the conversations happening in our classrooms or in our buildings. We know that you too are dedicated to your craft and the social, emotional, and academic well-being of all of your students. We know that you will open your arms to our students and take them in as one of yours and to help them during this time of transition. We also know that they will be okay. It might not be day one, it might not be year one, but eventually, because of the skills and lessons that they have learned from all of us, will show through during this time. It is time for this community to put aside or set aside their differences and to rally around one another to support. We should not let money dictate who deserves what. We need time to take an equitable look at whatever students' needs are within the district. My belief is that it's not shining new hallways and the latest tech. It means investing in students' well-being mentally while having appropriate tools necessary to support them during an age that we have never witnessed before. It also looks like investing in teachers, ensuring that our teachers don't have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. It's also investing in our structure. Every single building in this district should have a roof and a foundation that does not leak. We cannot build children up if our buildings are falling down. Doesn't matter if it's a building that was built in 1893 or a building that was built in 2005. It is time we focus our efforts to ensure that all of our children and all of our staff have what they need to come to work every day and feel safe, successful, and cared for. So I leave you with this last comment. What decision are you going to make that puts students first? That puts staff first? If it didn't have a dollar sign attached to it, what would that be?
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. At this time, are there any other individuals that would like to come forward and make public comment at this time?
I didn't fill one out, that was too late.
Oh, Sure, come on.
Hello, do you want-
Yes, well, no, you didn't fill a lot, no worries, just
Okay, it's just-
state your name for the record and then
Okay.
you'll have 3 minutes.
I'm Veronica Jonas, and I wrote something, I didn't finish it, but I figured I'd do today, part of it. First of all, I want to thank the previous board for the last 2 years. And we had the pleasure of walking our kids the 3 blocks to school. And this school, I'm never gonna do this again.
You're doing great.
This school is one of the last historical schools in our city and still being used. Where the principal knew every name of every student there. And the kindergarten teacher was so great, my first grader chooses his special treat he earned for being kind and working hard to spend his lunch with her. And his class time to take 15 minutes to visit her class. And our first grade teacher who took the time to do summer learning, learning with the kids who needed a little extra time like mine to catch up and also take a kid with special needs to meet his teacher before he had her so he would not be scared of the changes of a new grade. One of those, one who lets me know how he is doing and make sure that we are working together to get him acceptable levels. You have also made it possible for my girl to get the same grade teacher in kindergarten and follow the line. And something so special was to make sure this year all students were learning the same way and to bridge the gap between kindergarten and first grade. She sat in on the first grade, learning how you were being taught and giving the kindergartners the chance to learn it the same way for easier transitions. And my girl is already on her way to reading books to me on her own, and I can see the chain of processes for learning that have been set in motion. These are things that happen in the small school settings. These are the miracles of Perry School. The kids coming here, they love helping out. They know all their teachers and staff, they enjoy them. It's such a positive place for students and parents. I can't think what they would get the same experience in the bigger schools at such a formative age. This school is not just a wonderful school, but one of the last of its kind in our city. And many older people remember when the school had 2 entrances, one for boys, one for girls. And they think something with this history. There are places disappearing all across the country, and there are beautiful buildings. Now 2 years have passed, and once again we are here. And we aim to close it down and demolish it or sell it or and send the students other places. The currents we have are the same as they were 2 years ago, and actually I found my notes from last time. I can read that to you too. Because they're the same. So I'll come back and finish tomorrow.
Thank you, Mrs. Jonas. At this time, is there anyone else that would like to come forward?
Good evening. My name is Kristen Rogers. I'm a parent to 2 going on 3 girls that will be attending Perry. I need you to understand what that means tonight, because for me, this isn't a discussion or a proposal. This is my children's lives. This is their school, their sense of safety, their routine, their friends, their teachers, their home away from home. And right now, I'm overwhelmed because transparency has failed us. You are making decisions that will directly impact my children, their education, their stability, their sense of security. But you won't carry that the way we do. You won't see the confusion on their faces. You won't feel the anxiety in our homes. You won't be the ones trying to explain to a child why the place they feel safe might suddenly be taken away. We will.
And instead of being met with honesty and clarity, we've been met with uncertainty and surveys. Surveys that ask anonymous people in the community what should happen to our school, people who don't live this every day, people who don't tuck our kids in at night, who don't see how much this school means to them. That is not transparency. That is not leadership. That is avoiding accountability. Perry didn't become a $14 million problem overnight. That didn't just happen. This was years in the making, years of decisions, years where something could have been said, something could have been done, while children and teachers walked through those doors every single day, trusting that the adults in charge were taking care of the place they depend on. And somewhere along the way, transparency wasn't just lost, it was ignored. You had time to fix this, you had time to be honest, you had time to bring families into this conversation, and you didn't. And I need to say something that may be hard to hear, but it matters. When a school becomes a $14 million problem, that doesn't just raise questions about a building, it raises serious questions about leadership. How did this happen while children are sitting in those classrooms every day? How does this happen without the community being told the truth sooner? Because the truth is, schools don't fail overnight, leadership does. That's slowly over time. We moved here for Perry. We chose this community because of this school, because we believed in it, and we believed in the people responsible for it. And now we're being told that because of failures we had no part in, our children are the ones expected to carry those consequences. And that's what hurts the most. When you make this decision, I need you to picture real children, not numbers, not projections, not budget lines. Picture the child who finally feels safe walking into Perry every morning. The one who knows their teacher, their hallway, their routine, the one who has found their place. You are about to take that away. If this decision has already been made, if this is already decided behind closed doors, then I'm asking you as a parent to stop and reconsider, because this isn't just disappointing, it's a betrayal of trust. Children who trusted the adults in this room to protect their school, their stability, and their future. So if you choose to close Perry, I will remember this moment. I will remember every single one of you who had a hand in this decision, and I'll make it my personal mission to ensure this community gets the leadership it deserves, leadership that is honest, transparent, and accountable, because our children deserve better than this, and this community deserves leadership that proves it. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and address the public?
Hello, my name is Jessica Leonard. I am a third grader at Perry. We are zoned for Washington School. One of the best decisions I've ever made was to opt out of Washington and send my son to Perry. It takes a village to raise a child or multiple children. And I can tell you that we have the best village that anybody could ask for. There's a group of us, we celebrate holidays together, we have board game nights, we enjoy each other's company, and we went from strangers to acquaintances to our kids are friends to us becoming friends, and now they are considered family. One thing that I'm worried about that if Perry closes is my son will end up at Washington. He doesn't know many kids there. So what's going to happen to him? I mean, not only am I worried about him, I am worried about every student, because what Perry has is something so unique. I couldn't ask for a better school, for better staff. My son is having a bad day, or he didn't sleep very good the night before. I can message Mrs. Manali and say, handle with care today. I don't have to explain why, but I always do, because I want that open transparency with her, and I want her to know what's going on. And we've done that with all of his teachers. I really couldn't ask for better staff. When last year when my son was in baseball, if he missed a hit, Mr. H would help me encourage him. Lincoln would think, we lost the game because of me. And all I would have to do is kind of look at Mr. H and he would help encourage him. And he's not the only one that does that. When her dog passed away, Miss Mathis gave Lincoln special treatment, and not just her, but he wouldn't have that. I'm sorry, I didn't bring my notes with me. So just please keep Perry open. He even said to me 2 days ago, Mom, what happens if Perry closes? I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to homeschool. And honestly, I fully support that. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but I will have more to say tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joyner. Okay. At this time, is there anyone else that would like to approach the board?
That's right.
Step
Perry
forward.
alum, coming through.
Hello, my name is Adriana, and I used to be at Perry. I am now in middle school, and I have gone there since kindergarten. And now I have two siblings that go there, and they both, whenever I get home, tell me how they had such a great day, and they love their school. And I just wanted to say that if they closed, they would be super devastated. They love their school. They've met most of their friends there, and I have met some of my bestest friends at Perry. And if you closed it, I feel like everyone would be devastated. So keeping it open would make so many people more happy. And I know there might be a struggle with money, but it just made me think about the students. Think about how they would feel if their school closed. That's all I have to say.
I'm sorry, honey. I did not hear your name. Can I ask you to repeat it one more time for me, please?
Esme Aviano.
Esme.
S-E-M-E.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Esme. Thank you for your bravery to come up. Okay, anyone else?
Hi, I'm Erin Ariano. My daughter just showed me up. I hate public speaking. I didn't think I would be, but I can't. My daughter went to Perry from kindergarten through 5th. She was a part of the fight to keep it open the last time. My biggest goal was seeing her through Perry and seeing my son have Miss Hirsch as a teacher, which he's in kindergarten this year with Miss Hirsch, the best kindergarten teacher ever.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And I also have a 3rd grader. And this school is so much to our family. Oh, I hate this. My daughter Esme, she's such a cool kid. She beats to her own drum. The confidence that she gained going to school at Perry and the safety she felt to be her true self, you can't replicate that in a larger school. When my daughter Lucy, my 3rd grader, came into the school, everyone already knew her name because they recognized her face from her sister and because her sister would talk about her. Same with my son. It's not just their teachers, it's the whole staff knows everybody. We all get together outside of school. It is a community. We bought our house specifically because of Perry School. I have relatives that grew up here. We knew it was the best one. We knew that's where we wanted to send our kids. My daughter Lucy, I was so worried about her starting school. She's so shy. She has so much anxiety. She thrives at this school and she's so scared. And I'm so scared of what will happen to this outspoken, just amazing little girl that has grown so much in this community. I don't know what's going to happen at the larger school. And I just really hope you guys make the right decision here. Harry is so much to us. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to step forward and make public comment tonight?
My name is Susan Toth. I'm a homeowner in Belvedere. I have no relatives or never been to the Perry School, but it is a beautiful building. It is a historical building. It's part of Belvedere, and we need to honor the generations that built it, the craftsmanship, take care of it, nurture it, and not only that, but more than the building, nurture all these children, parents, grandparents that are involved in this community. Closing the school is ripping the heart out of these people. And so I just wanted to say something. I would be challenging the board to think out of the box for fundraisings And it is a good community here. It's a beautiful community. That's why I moved here a while back. So please, please, in your heart, consider keeping this building open. We have museums, we have historical buildings preserved. Why not a beautiful school that absolutely makes the community for the generations in the future to be good, loving citizens? That's what we're looking for. That's what this building is creating with the people there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Toth. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward for public comment at this time? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, Member Hemke made the motion, Member Piggy seconded the motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, meeting adjourned at 6:45 PM.